With Dave Brown. I'm here with producer Rob. Rob, how you doing today, man?
Morning. Do okay. How you doing?
I did better on my breakfast today.
Yeah, back to flapjacks.
Flapjacks and bacon, but good flapjacks and bacon.
Yeah.
You like orange juice? I love orange juice too, but with pancakes, I gotta have my milk.
Yeah, I'm not a milk guy. I don't know what it is.
But you gotta admit, 30 minutes in the freezer, frosted glasses like the when you get jam in, we got those pint
mason jars. Yeah,
so
that was pretty good.
You like that? We gotta go, and we heat the syrup up, and the butter's warm. I mean, these are critical things in a good breakfast. You gotta have
the butter being warm is huge, because I'll tell you, I've been to many places where they give you the frozen block of butter and expect you to deal with it. It's like tears up everything. Butter's got to be melted.
It just ticks me off.
Yeah,
we go to these big fancy dinners, right?
Yep.
And I love this. You go and you spend all this money, and people are fundraising for whatever reason, and you go to these things, and then your food comes out, or they usually have a buffet. One or the other. You go through and get your plate of food, and the butter always comes in the little frickin' wrappers,
gold wrappers, and frozen solid.
Frozen solid, hard as a rock. David would take down Goliath with these things, and then you unwrap it. It's messy on your fingers. Then you try to peel it out of there. You can't cut it with the cheap knife they give you, and you're trying to put this on a roll. It just slices the roll all up, and it ticks me off, man.
I was at an event just last weekend where they gave butter balls. They had little butter balls, pile of butter.
Seen
balls.
That.
But again, those were hard too. So it's kind of it tears your bread up.
I mean, come on, people. This is not difficult. I walked into George Fox once at a basketball camp, and the food was so bad. I was like, and my ham had some green in it.
Well, the food is not really attributable to George Fox University itself.
No.
It's a company.
Yeah.
It's a company. It's a national company.
It is a national
company. And they do a lot of institutional food, such as hospitals and colleges, because I know. You know why? Because I actually worked for them, a Bon Appetit management company. Yeah. And they were so kind to many of us employees during the COVID situation. And just laid us all off pretty much with no notice.
I just so I went back to the kitchen.
A little personal.
And I got in the kitchen, and I'm like, can I talk to somebody? And this was all old people. They're cooking back there. At the time, I'm in my 40s. And I'm like, there's 300 kids at this basketball camp.
They want some food.
So I'm like, the butter was hard. The pancakes were cold. The ham had green in it. And I walked back there, and I go, can I talk to anybody here? Because we got to have a talk. And they're all looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm in the middle of their kitchen with about 10 people. And I go, what is up with the green ham? I said, next thing it's going to be green eggs and ham, like from Dr. Seuss. I go, does anybody even understand that it would be nice to put the pancakes in a microwave maybe for 10 seconds to warm them up a little bit?
So, Dave, you're at a basketball camp. Is this like a summer camp?
Yeah.
Okay. Little insider tip. You're not getting the university's A team in the summertime.
Okay.
You're getting a lot of low-level, B-level varsity or JV players.
Okay.
Well, all the good guys are on vacation. They're taking their summers.
Yeah, but when you take your food, every kid pays.
And I'll tell you, the food people, those big wigs are rolling in the money. They're definitely taking their time.
Yeah, but I mean, when you pay $300 for a camp, even back then,
I get it.
You expect something more than green eggs and ham.
I get it.
It's just like, dang. But anyway, we got off topic there.
Boy, I'll tell you, Dave, been crazy week here again in Portland with the ice facilities. I saw a little video. I guess you're doing some 80s aerobics out there.
I saw
the lefties, and comical for maybe 10 seconds. Then I was kind of like, "Oh, you guys are kind of weird." Sorry, that was weird.
I did too. I watched it for a second. I'm kind of going, man, you guys got to this is their life. This is what they do.
Yeah.
So last night, though, I got approached by somebody. More to come on this next week when we get all the final details. But this is the truth from an inside source right there. And this last week, there was a shooting near the ice facility.
Yeah, appalling when you hear the details of it.
6 shots were fired into a security van. And I talked to the person who was trailing the security van, and it was his friend. Legacy Media, major media markets in Portland, totally ignored the story. The mayor ignored the story. The governor ignored the story. And the police just barely touched on it. Not even a full investigation.
We got an inside perspective on that, though.
And we're gonna do a lot more of that kind of stuff because this person approached me last night, and we're going to follow through on this and get more.
Yeah,
details.
in a random place. It wasn't even planned or nothing. It just you were out running errands and
like a drive. Yeah.
Guy saw your shirt, proudly wearing the Stand Tall Dave Brown logo shirt. We need to bring those back. Now we're back doing live streams. We need to start wearing those shirts again.
We do.
Bring out our brand, man. And the other thing that's really exciting is you're starting to make some partnerships with some other streamers and other new media who are out there. Another one of our really good friends, David Medina, who's doing some fantastic work covering all the uproar in Portland. Good friend of Dave's. I know you guys talked a lot, and you're looking at doing some things together. So that's gonna be exciting.
It really is. I mean, Dave Medina, PDX Portland. He's the boots on the ground guy. We've referenced him many times to, if you want what's going on down there, go. And David would be the first one to tell you too. When you go downtown Portland at 10 or in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not going to see it's Portland. You will see homeless people walking around, some drugs starting to happen, but most of that drug stuff takes part later in the afternoon. These people aren't out shopping, jogging at 10 o'clock in the morning. They don't jog. The
fentanyl addicts are not out biking and
no.
doing their morning jogs in the
They're
morning?
not doing the Zumba next to the ice facility with the other people.
Pilates.
Rob, that whole thing, saying going back, keep Portland weird. I thought about that quite a bit this week in a sense, until I saw the people out doing the Zumba class or the Jane Fonda workout class in front of the ice facility. And like you said, about 10 seconds, you're kind of going, okay, ha. And then it's like, there was a comment in there about these people just need to get a job and contribute to society. Like, go get something good done rather than just have somebody film you, making fun of the ice facility in your way. There's so many things, like we always go back to the homeless thing. And I have a big heart for this because I'm sitting there thinking, what are all the things we could be doing, all of us, if we were all had a job and we were all contributing, into good, worthwhile things to help our homeless get the mental health treatment, which is where 99% of the homelessness comes from, is drugs and mental health, which leads into sex trafficking, which leads into all the other, violence that happens out there.
Oregon, again, was on the leading edge of decriminalizing drugs, and that's where a lot of the issues kind of started.
Just saw a video in California, Rob. It is insane. When you start looking at Gavin Newsom's California, we're always 10 years behind the curve up here in Oregon. Washington, same thing, but California is the trendsetter. And California has so many amazingly good things about it. There's all the entertainment in Hollywood. Our movies, our entertainment, our TV.
Beautiful state too. Beautiful state. I mean, you get outside into some of those canyons and those valleys. Crazy.
Napa Valley, Big Sur, Pebble Beach. You just keep San Diego. Holy smokes! Probably one of the prettiest towns in the world. Mm-hmm. It has so much going for it, and I think there's a lot of great people down there. But they've allowed, since Reagan being governor up until 80, they've just allowed a horrible bunch of leaders. Schwarzenegger was a Republican, but he had really not much room to go when everybody else in the state was a Democrat, and they were fighting each other. They didn't get anything done. Not that, I can't mention Schwarzenegger in the same political vein as Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a visionary and was great. But California has a lot of great stuff going for it. But man, if people just peeled back the curtain a little bit on Gavin Newsom, and he's going to be the front runner for the Democratic nomination, people out there have got to wake up across this country and sit back and say, this guy is, he may have the hair and the looks, and he's been the governor and stuff like that. But man, you have to look past the curtain. You have to look at what he has not done and what he's done to harm that state.
Yeah, I mean, it's just people have called Donald Trump a charlatan. I mean, I think Gavin Newsom is maybe the biggest charlatan I've ever kind of seen. I mean, this guy really. I don't know. He's a troll. He's been trolling. I don't know. I don't care for the guy. I just don't feel like I can't. It's hard for me to take him seriously. After Los Angeles burned and all the issues they're having getting permits and how the permits are going to like low income housing and just a lot of different things that are really upsetting the balance of life out in those burned out areas and the Palisades and Malibu. That's just one section of the entire freaking state.
Rob, let me ask you, let's switch gears here on this housing thing. This is a big thing. Trump administration now are dealing with it. I think all politicians have been so far behind the curve on affordable housing. You moved out from St. Louis. What are St. Louis prices compared to Oregon prices?
Oh, considerably less. So the West Coast is probably the most expensive. I mean, the East and West Coast are the most expensive areas of the country. I mean, a house here costs easily $450,000 for maybe a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Modest, very modest. For $485,000, you're getting property, you're getting acreage, you're getting maybe a swimming pool, you're getting a roundabout driveway.
Wow.
You're getting maybe even a gated property. Maybe there's a lake on the property. So just the difference in what you give up to be out here. Now again, you get the natural beauty, you get the falls, the Columbia Gorge, the Willamette River. You get all those vistas, and you can travel throughout the country. There's it's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
So you definitely get that. Like your entire backyard is the entire state.
So our Atlantic Ocean, our Pacific Ocean are all blue states, except for you get down to South Carolina.
And Missouri is actually going. I mean, it's very St. Louis and Kansas City and Columbia, where the state university is, are very blue. But outside of that, it's really turning red.
Yeah.
It's always been a red state, but those areas are starting to turn red as well. People are tired of the direction the country's been taking.
Yeah. I think most people aren't really interested in the red and the blue as much as they're interested in the normal. They like to get back to normal. One thing, Rob, if I was a little bit younger, I would invest in the opportunity for like affordable housing. To me, is Judy and I live in this nice big house, and it's more room than we need. Right, we transferred the attic into a studio plus a war room, which is a movie. That's a prayer room for Judy. We're looking at it right now. But we just took about 350 square feet and just, did the best we could to transform it into a studio and a war room. But 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, big living room, high ceilings, big yard. We have a pickleball court. That's how big our backyard is, and 2-car garage. This house would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000.
Well, oh yeah, easily, yeah.
Maybe a little higher.
Yeah, the new houses are building up around the corner. I think they start at $730,000.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's affordable housing to me though. So let's go.
I said $730,000. So if you're listening from the Midwest, and again, or even in Ghana, there's that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. You just pencil out the house payment.
The thing that I don't know that people really realize is the impact that has on a young person. So I used to work when I first got here. I worked at an organization, and one of the people who worked there was like 25, 26 years old. And I kind of asked, where do you live? Well, I still live with my parents. Oh, wow. When I was 26, I had my own place, all that sort of thing. And she's like, I'll never own a house. Right. I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, I can never afford it. It's like, wow. But I mean, this is a person who lived, had an office job and things like that. At 26-year-old, just was resigned to the fact she'd never own a house. And to me, that was pretty sad because owning a house is probably the American dream,
Well, my thought on this is like, okay, we've kind of been trapped into this mindset of bigger is better. We're trying to keep chasing the upscale of the house, keep upward trend, which obviously you're going to spend more money on a bigger house. It would take almost $900,000 to $1.2 million to buy another level house up from this one. You said $750,000, so a new version of this, about the same size, but a new version. So this house is 20 years old. But then it's like, okay, I want the acreage. Okay, I would like the 2 acres and a swimming pool, 3-car garage, whatever, shop. You're looking at probably $900,000 to $1.2 million here. Now, let's reverse that and go back, because I saw this in Texas and it really existed. If you're like me and Judy and you're a couple that's, we're of retirement age, but we're not retired. What could we get by with? And I'm talking about not looking bad, but Rob, go back 5 or 6 years when we had the tiny house crazy. And Judy really goes, man, tiny houses are cool. And I'm like, dude, that's awfully little, man. We're talking 150 square feet. That's just like
you're on top of each other.
You're just no. If you're by yourself, maybe when you're younger or something like that, you can handle it for a while. I said, but let's you look at the market. If it's people with you're 10 years away from your kids being gone. What do you really need? I saw a development where there were 60 homes, and they were about somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 by 25, so about 500 square feet on a platform floor. Pretty basic layout. And they did a pitched roof, so they had a loft inside. So it adds another couple of hundred square feet. They had a little gingerbread porch on the front, a bigger gingerbread porch on the back with a carport. All the landscaping was done by a company. You don't need a lawnmower. You don't need all the tools. You don't need any of that. There was a community barbecue type thing with, walkways and grass. So it was really pretty. And these houses were gingerbreaded up. I mean, when I say gingerbreaded up, I mean, they were, nice window decorations, trim around that.
Flower boxes, flower boxes, things like that.
Exactly. Really cute. The interior layouts were just stunningly efficient, though. And I think we could build those kind of homes here for a lot of people, younger people that don't have kids, like no dogs, no cats. You can't. Sometimes you just have to get away from some of those things that everybody thinks they have to have, and or older people or single people. There's a lot of people out there that are single who, if you have a living room, you have a small kitchenette. Look at how we get by in a motel room. We get by just fine.
Yeah, or people in trailer parks, trailer homes, things like that.
One bath, one bedroom with a little small side bedroom if you have a guest come over, something like that. A sitting area, a living room, with a little dining room table and a smaller kitchen. Yeah, it's not huge. And then upstairs, a little walkway up to it where you could have an office up there or whatever you want to do, like a den or more storage. So my point is, Rob, I think we could probably build stuff like that for $200,000. And that, when you divide that up into now today, we're roughly 5.8 to 6.2 in our interest rates. That's not a bad payment. What's a bad payment is if you go buy a house and let's say you have a $50,000 to put down on this house, you're still financing $550,000. That's a big payment.
Yeah.
You take $200,000, you have, let's say you have $20,000 saved up. And the government might have to come up with a program to get that down payment for people, and then have like a mortgage in a second, and get that payment down really, really.
But Dave, I mean, I kind of feel like under the Trump administration, there's hope for that. That there is actually progress, and there's plans being made to make homes affordable, not just build affordable homes necessarily, if that makes sense. Where that I think under the Trump administration, there's an effort to build affordable homes, not affordable housing, if that makes sense, or to make homes affordable for normal people rather than subsidized housing.
Yeah.
And I think, that there's hope there. So I really feel like Donald Trump and at least people in his administration have that sort of vision, where that vision did not exist in previous administrations. It just didn't.
I think the homeowner thing is within reason, but we're going to have to be creative in how we approach this.
Yeah.
And you're only going to hit part of the market. You're not going to hit the whole market. But these kids coming out of college saying, "I'll never afford a home." I don't agree. And I think that gets back.
Well, they can if they move, move out of Oregon, move out of California,
I think we make it
Washington.
affordable even in Oregon. We just have to do it smarter. And then once you look at the market, Rob, let's say right around Newburgh out there towards the golf course or somewhere out in that area. Let's say we built 300 of these homes I'm talking about. Let's say they go for $195, and they're not very big, pretty much 4 or 5 different little styles on the outside, but they're pretty much the same house. And they would sell like hotcakes. And you get these 300 sold, and now all of a sudden, what's that do to the apartment in the bigger market? It takes a share of that, and so these investors are going to go, wait a minute, I'm going to invest in something like this because they're selling like this. People are owning the home, not having to rent an apartment, and it's also going to help the homeowners like us or this new development up the road, because these houses will sell to the people who can have a double income and afford that. But to all these other people that are being, like in a trapped situation in an apartment, and go, no, I own my own home.
Sure. And one thing I do want to credit our friends at George Fox University and ADEC, Austin Dental Equipment Company, and some of the big companies here in town. They're trying to address that, and they're taking surveys or surveying their employees. I just took a survey a few months ago about the housing situation in Oregon and how to make it more affordable and some things like that. So hopefully there's some relief on the way. I know the 3 organizations have, partnered together with Northwest Community Christian to build a child care center, and that's going to be enough to serve all the employees, serve eligible employees and things like that. So, those are things that people don't really understand, that there's, the cost of the house, but then there's also like, what do I do with my kids, and are the schools any good? And a lot of questions go into it. And again, as you know, the schools are hit or miss out here.
Yeah. Well, it's because they've lost their focus.
Mhm.
I ran into a couple of guys the other day who were both supervisors, principals of mine at Newbury High School, and I thought about them all day long from the standpoint that they were part of the woke agenda before the woke agenda got here.
Okay.
And it was that extreme left of the political environment and how education should work. They just weren't very good.
Mhm.
They think they're really good. Employees didn't like working for them. They didn't improve test scores. That's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Is you can sit there and you can wear a nice outfit and drive a nice car and you can have the job and everything and you can say you're good, but are we pumping out a good high school graduate here in Newbury? No, we're not. The kids are going to get it done on their own. And I think anytime you go to school, you do learn something. We're just not learning enough. Our test scores show that we're some of the lowest in the United States.
Yeah. And I mean, the people out here they flock to the private schools. They can afford it. Again, there's another extra expense, but if you can afford it, people, I know, Paige sends her kids to the private schools. If I had the ability to send my kids there, I probably would send them to C.S. Lewis or something like that. But again, that's one thing we weren't really prepared moving from the Midwest out here, was the agenda-based education, how the government was pulling a lot of strings about what was being taught, and just the activism in the schools. That really doesn't exist as much maybe in the Midwest. I mean, it doesn't exist, but it's not prevalent, and it's not the secret code in this. You wear this tattoo, and I know you're part of this group, or put this in your window, I know you're part of this group. And
we have. Have you noticed? I go down to the pool every day. We have a nice
great pool. Chehalem Aquatic Center is awesome.
We have a competition pool. I'll swim every now and then. We have the rec pool, has a lazy river.
I heard you took Michael Phelps on the other day.
Yeah, no. I can swim. I learned how to swim late from my late friend George Sampson, the former coach of the year at Newbury in swimming. He gave me swimming lessons. I'd never had one. My first swimming lesson, I was about 9. The old pool down on River Street.
Yep.
And it was 3 or 4 of my neighbors who were 3 or 4 years older than me. And it was a great lesson. Next thing you know, I'm standing on the edge of the pool. Next thing you know, I'm in the deep end. And I went to the bottom. It was 10 feet deep because you could dive off a diving board. And I remember hitting bottom, and I'm like, I can't breathe really good. So I pushed off, got up top, got some fresh air, went down 4 times. I'm like, probably be a good idea to get to the shore. That was my swimming lesson until oh my goodness, when I retired, basically from basketball, I'm probably 55. And we signed up for the Beaver Freezer down at Oregon State University, which was a sprint triathlon, which meant a 600-yard swim, which is farther than you think, and then a 12.2-mile bike ride and a 5K run. I don't run. Oh. And so Judy and I both did it, and it was a pretty fun thing to do, but George taught me how to swim. So I'm not a bad swimmer, but Michael Phelps, boy, you watch some of these George Fox kids come down and practice, or the high school kids that swim. Swimming is a fantastic workout. I highly promote would promote it. You can't cheat. You're going to drown. Once you get down and back one time, you're kind of warmed up because the competition pool, they keep it like at 78 degrees. That sounds warm. It's not warm. I don't know. It might be 82. I don't know, but it's freaking cold. And but I had a couple things I wanted to throw by you here. We have a person named Maxine Durand, a transgender man wanting to be Maxine in Idaho, who's going to run for governor in 2026 or 8, independent socialist communist. All over social media, and he's going to run. He is a he. He's got a penis, and so if you got a penis, you're not a woman. And so Maxine is making this big statement, very flamboyant, very gay, very everything, socialist, communist. Jumping on what happened in Seattle just now. They elected a socialist, communist to be their mayor, as did New York with Mogami. So now Idaho.
I mean, knowing the culture of Idaho, does that seem to jibe? I mean, Idaho is kind of the Western Rangers, the cattle ranchers, the potato
A
farmers.
lot of people moved up from California, though, dude.
Wow. I know Boise is very diverse, let's just say, progressive.
Yeah.
But in Coeur d'Alene, another beautiful, really beautiful city, I guess that's kind of turned blue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, interesting. I kind of want to say good luck with that. I'm just not sure that the populace is really ready for that. But again, I've been proven wrong.
Well, a lot of people are thinking Montgomery after he gets done destroying New York. The cycle of going through Quadro was speaking on this on Fox News about how this is going to play out, and it's just going to play out in a situation where people are going to go, this failed experiment one more time. Even Bill Maher is saying it. The Democrats go too far. They've gone too far again with these kind of people. And socialism, like he was talking about the comparison between, I have it written down here, between Venezuela and Poland. Both of them were Lucy Bears. Come here. They were,
Producer Lucy kind of chiming in on the whole deal.
yeah, she doesn't like Venezuela because they're sending drugs our
Oh,
way.
they were very contrite the other day, though.
What did it do?
They were really trying to kiss up to Trump. Well, apparently, they've made several efforts to try and negotiate, and basically Trump said, "No, you're not going to do this." You know, you have to look this up. The video is pretty chilling.
This about blowing up the drug boats?
Well, yeah, I mean, Maduro was on camera saying, you know, again, I'm not sure. I'm assuming this was not AI. It seemed like it was a legitimate news, where he was saying, you know, we're willing to negotiate with the United States. We've approached the United States. We sent messages, but you know, they're not taking our calls.
Huh. Maybe stop sending all the drugs and the violence this way.
I think that's the message.
So, well, they were talking about Venezuela and they're talking about Poland. Poland was under the Soviet regime of communism, socialism, and Venezuela was under free market society, doing pretty well. And what happened is Poland got away from the Soviet. I mean, what are we talking, 10, 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And 15, 20, 25 years ago. They pulled away from the Soviet model of socialism, communism, and now they're under democracy, both sides of the United States. What's that?
Capitalism,
and they are thriving like no other. They've got people traveling, owning homes, jobs, business investments. Poland is doing fantastic, probably by far and away the best they've done in this last 100 years. Venezuela went under Hugo Chavez and went the total socialism route, and they are a train wreck and a mess, and have been. Going back to when we were on the school board.
Did their currency fail a few years ago or something?
I think it did.
Yeah, something like crazy.
You remember when we were in the around the school board at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were working on the side of like what was it, marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Our superintendent time, Joe Morlock, had a Hugo Chavez big poster in his office on his wall as superintendent of the school. I remember sitting there looking at it going, "You got to be kidding me!" And that's when Venezuela just went through the tubes. I mean, because socialism doesn't work, you guys. So if we have any young people out there, this has been a failed experiment so many times. People make it like AOC makes it sound good. Bernie Sanders wants to make it sound good. But basically all it is you have just a few people. China's a perfect example right now. There's all kinds of stuff coming out on China where just a small percentage of the upper crust get anything and everything they want, from money to medical to everything. And then everybody else pays for it. And that's when you have government taking care of you, you need to be worried. And we've gone way too far in this country where government's way too prevalent in helping us with. Look at the Obamacare. It's a disaster, and it increased costs tenfold. And switching gears to that, well, what's your take on Obama out right now? He's been very visual. He kind of hijacked the Veterans Day thing with all the veterans who get flown around in this plane. It's all privately paid for. He got on there, made it sound like his idea. When he was president, and or when he was going through stuff, they went to great lengths to stuff like that to make it hard for him to do that. But he got on the plane and made it sound like it was all his thing, not Trump's thing. But what's the deal with Obama being so visual right now?
Well, that's interesting because I saw the video, and I guess first of all, I felt like It's a former president. I mean, come on, these guys will never meet a former president, or a president. They're on their honor flight to D.C. So I didn't really see it as hijacking the moment. To me, I felt like it was a former president who was, there to offer his, thank you. He shook out all their hands. He told them thank you for their service. So I actually thought that was noble of him. Again, I might be in the minority here, but I thought like, okay, yeah, great. Now I don't know all the story behind it, how it all came to be. It was obviously a manufactured moment, but certainly looked good on camera. I'm not sure what strategically what he was trying to get across, because you're right, he had not been overly friendly to veterans in his day. So thought it was interesting, but again, it felt like, okay, he's a former commander in chief. It's what an honor for these older gentlemen to have a chance to meet a president.
Right. Moving on. I mean, picking up on something that's been intriguing to me for a long time, but just in the last month or so, Rob, kind of picked up on Tai Chi.
Really?
And been thinking about it, looking at it, researching it. So today's day one.
Okay.
And they have that commercial on there where these, ripped guys, and they're a little bit older, and they go, "You look very good, very large man right now. What's your goal?" And they go, "You do Tai Chi for 7 days, and you will feel better. You do Tai Chi for 14 days, and you will notice more energy. You do Tai Chi for 21 days, your wife will notice. You do Tai Chi for 28 days, and you will be a movie star too." So it's kind of intriguing, because I'm as you get older, like more movement, just your joints feeling better, things like that. We can't do the same workouts we did a long time ago.
So, Dave, is this something you found like as an advertisement that came to you?
Yes.
Don't trust it. Those never work out.
Never.
Never. They all say, "Oh, so make a PDF and make $16 million a year." A PDF of what? People.
No.
I mean, people aren't buying this. Like, I just, it's such a hard
every
thing
day
to
you
do.
just do another exercise.
Well, the Tai Chi, like, once you get to day 7 and you're not seeing your results, you gonna sue them? You gonna call the 1-800 number and say,
I'm not gonna pay for anything.
See, that's just the thing. If nothing's free in this life, dude.
Well, okay, but when you talk about working out, like last night I stopped by at I went down at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock before Judy and I had to go take care of the grandkids, and I worked out. And I stretch, I roll, I do some foam rollers, stretch really good. I do some sits, some PT stuff. Then I go over and lift weights. And last night I found this little bar. It's about this big. It's got these handles on it. And I've had the one out here where you're coming down, but I'm really sore right through here right now. And it was a small one. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing 120 pounds. And I'm bringing it right in front of me, down, boom, boom, boom. I'm feeling it right here today, but it felt like a good workout. So I'm going to keep doing that every single day. It feels good. But I can get in and out of there in about 30 minutes working out. Stretch, roll. When I lift weights, I don't sit around and wait. I don't look at my phone. I'm not into counting. I do 8 reps of 10 straight weight things. I just go. So I can do that. I can do all that in about 12 minutes. So I'll do my curls. I'll do the typical stuff. I'll do the what's this called? The triceps. Mm-hmm. By the way, on your arms, right here, your bicep, boom, 2/3 the size of that looks like bicep is your tricep. So that means you've got to work those triceps, which generally you grab a bar and you come down with, and you're doing that, and it really works this one right here. So
let me ask you a question. It's time for a quiz.
Fire.
Okay. As a man, what is worse? Having a coworker that will only talk about their child's success on their junior 6 soccer team?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Number B, having a wife that refuses to let you eat sweets and things like that because she doesn't believe in it.
Which is worse out of those two?
Or 3, listening to another dude tell you about their workout routine. They're all 3 are bad, but I'll tell you what.
Which one's yours?
I don't want to hear a dude tell you about his workout routine. Sorry, Dave, I love you, but
Are you jealous?
No. It's just,
look at those things.
It doesn't affect me.
Dude.
You still look like a wrapped up, wet sock.
Wow. Okay. You just need to get to the gym, boy.
I think so. I think so.
So what was our options there? Yeah, the whole one about the kid.
Listening to the
I
kids'
just had to
soccer
say-
team. Yeah,
I went through a whole dinner the other night with some people who were talking nothing about their kids playing
soccer. Yeah,
basketball.
yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
mean,
okay.
it's all very well, well received, but it gets to the point where, okay, you're boring people. No one cares. Did you ever ask about my kids and what they're doing in their science projects? No,
How are your kids doing their science projects?
actually, pretty well.
Are they really?
Yeah, my kids are doing pretty well in school. Good. They're a studious kid. You know them.
As a 44-year high school coach, 12 years middle school, I'm telling you, put all your focus on academics, science over basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Teach these kids how to, get them into robotics, get them into the things that are going to matter down the road, because it's going to be their academics is going to be their scholarship. No. And academics is going to be where they have a better job down the road. It's not going to be basketball.
Let me ask you this about sports, because you were a coach. At some point, okay, you have some talent. You're growing up, young kid. You're really good, and getting to high school, and maybe in high school, you start to run into some intangibles. Yeah. Coach doesn't like you. Coach doesn't think you work hard enough. The next thing you know, you're being suddenly the second team, and before you know it, basketball isn't the most important thing anymore. And before you know it, you're like, forget basketball. I don't want to do this. I'm going to go chase girls. You seen that? Have you seen that scenario play out?
Oh, 10,000 times.
Yeah.
But you know what the kicker in that is?
What's that?
What side is? Sports teach you something that science can't teach you. Sports can teach you some of the most valuable lessons in school. It teaches you a work ethic. It teaches you how to be tough, resilient. It teaches you how to keep going when you're tired. It teaches you how to work with others. It teaches you how to take orders. It teaches you how to be competitive, which you'll have to do with that science degree at some point, be competitive. It'll teach you how to be creative. I think sports is one of the most very important things that kids can do. I think the most well-rounded kids would be like my middle son, Josh, who was a 4-point in all his classrooms all the way through Oregon State. Same time he was all league in sports. Played football, basketball, tennis. So I think, Rob, that it's critical that kids find activities outside of the science room, but still put your main focus on excelling in the science room and let your sports take care of it. Some kids play sports for fun, Rob, and they play because they're around their friends, and that social aspect is huge. I've seen kids just go out for a sport because there's a girl or a boy on a track team and they want to hang out with them. It's a plan. They got a plan.
But, David, it's changed a lot. And now it's, you can play Minecraft online with other people.
Okay,
you can play Roblox online with other people.
You guys, video games are
to them. It's like connecting. It's building their community, and I get it.
These video games are so well put together. I get it. I don't play video games. When I'm 80, I think I'll try it. I've done a little bit of it, and I'm like, I just don't have time to sit around and take a little button joystick and pretend I'm shooting bad guys.
I know
a buddy of mine does the whole zombie game. He got me over there doing it, and I'm like, put the whole helmet on and everything. And I love Ken. I really do. He's a great guy. And he just digs this stuff. He's got all these buddies in Idaho and Montana, and they're all fighting against each other. And I'm like, dude, I'd rather just take my AR out and go up in the woods and just shoot the crap out of some targets. That's what I'd rather do. I want to be in the real world for as long as I can. So I think, parents out there, science class important, sports are important. I would take your video machine, find the biggest ledge you can, and throw it over the top, because kids have got to get away from screen time.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure I'm going to agree with you on that, Dave.
What?
Because I think that this new generation, they're very visual learners. So screens and things like that, they get concepts that way. They're competitive in this whole sort of gamer environment. It's kind of a new sort of way of teaching. I think maybe you've heard people, even in your teaching career, talk about gamification and how to make your classes into games and things like that. And there's this whole movement in education. I do think that for the jobs of the future, they're going to have to know how to do computing, and things like that are just going to have to be second nature. They're not going to have to learn that on the job. They're going to have to be able to do some basic coding and understand things like that. I do think books aren't as effective in teaching that. I do think the screens and kind of the repetitive nature, the fact that you can rewind a video and watch it again, watch it unlimited times, I think that's the way people learn.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's not the way we learn. I get it.
there's some Instagram videos out right now, and it's basically a couple kids come up and it look like the 1980s, like 1984. They go, "Welcome back to 1984. Here we are. We're on our Stingray bicycles with banana seats and a 5-foot sissy bar. I had it, and we are out and we're going to, you know, wake up in the morning and we take off and go play, and we don't come back until it's dark, and mom and dad say dinner's ready." And it was the 80s, and there was no cell phones. There was no barely.
They give you $1 and you get like potato chips for lunch or something from the snack bar or something.
Yeah, I mean,
or a hot dog for 50 cents or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was just a different world, but it is kind of refreshing to think that how much I look at how I got to grow up working on farms, picking strawberries, black caps, cucumbers, making my own school money up, making my own spending money. Of course, I grew up in a poor family, but still, the freedom I had with my bicycle, that was my car, that was my horse, that was my motorcycle when I'm 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, until I got a car at 16, which I paid for. And I just think that, there's nothing like riding on a 6 layers of hay on a hay truck, and you look up and you're only 2 feet below the electrical lines on some old farm road, and you're all laying flat on the top. You're going, oh crap, how close are we? And then you get in there and it hits one big bump, and bam, the hay splits, and you go flying down the middle, and you all fall off, and you're laughing until the farmer comes back and goes, "What the frick are you guys doing?" I mean, we just had. I remember being in Dayton, Oregon, Rob, on my motorcycle, and I'm 16, and the people I worked for, 17, they were short and they were school teachers, so they were summer farmers. And when we'd have to do sugar beets and corn with the watering, so you have your pipes, big long
irrigation,
pipes, irrigation, and so I had to be in the middle and hold them up above my head going over the corn late in the summer, and they had to be on the ends because you don't want to break off the tops too bad. So I had to extend all the way up, and soaking wet. 9 o'clock at night, last movement of the pipes before the next day. You're walking in mud, you're walking through corn, and your arms are just like this. Gosh. And then you're soaking wet. You come out and you get on your motorcycle, and you got to drive about 8, 9, 10 miles back to my house in Newburgh, and you're so cold. And I'd get home, I'd get in the backyard where I had my little shed for my motorcycle. I'd get off, and the clothes were just wet, sticking to you. And you'd peel them off, and you hose them, and then you put them on the clothesline at 9:30 at night, and then it would take them 2 days to dry. And then you take them down, they're all stiff and everything like that. You'd whack them up against the fence, you put them on and go back to work again. And so, I mean, it was just, I loved the way I got to grow up.
Yep.
So, a couple more things here real quick before we go. Athey Creek was today. Ironworks.
Ironworks. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, we probably need to go next time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a great experience. We always love Pastor Brett. Our good friend Steve's involved with that. He invited me today, but today's actually my anniversary, wedding anniversary. Me and Amanda married 12 years, love her. And also we had the show and have a couple other things going on today, so didn't really work out. But I am gonna make it up there one day. You get a lot out of those.
Do what?
You get a lot out of those experiences.
Yeah, it's a men's only. There's probably 1,800 men only, and then they do a women's one too at Athey Creek. So women lead women, men lead men in that situation. But they'll have maple bars and coffee. This morning, it's probably just about done right now. And Pastor Brett leads. He'll have some guests in there down, and the chaplain from the University of Oregon was top notch. But it's all men.
He was the former NFL punter.
Yeah,
he was an interesting guy. I really enjoyed him.
I like that guy. It was a great story. So it's just sometimes men need a men's story, and we want to do some of that, Rob, as we go. Tell everybody again, like if we do something kind of like an Ironworks on Stans Hall, where can they find that at?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, we're expanding, branching out. Again, we're heating up some partnerships and heating up some other opportunities as we've been talking about for some time. So, but to catch the show, again, we're one of the few shows that you can actually find us on live stream, as well as the podcast, as well as on Reels. So let's talk about the live stream. We live stream through Instagram and through YouTube Live. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Apple CarPlay, and Spotify for the actual podcast. And then on the Reels, Dave, talk about your Reels.
Yeah, yesterday I did one on the referendum in Oregon right now. We are, it just came out the paperwork for the signatures to fight the biggest tax increase from Governor Tina Kotek in the history of the state of Oregon. Massive tax increase that she just decided to pass on her own. without the voters of Oregon passing it. One thing about Oregon, as crazy as we can be, being red or blue, mostly blue and Portland stuff in Eugene and Salem, we don't like taxes.
Yeah.
And Tina Kotek just threw this right down the tube without us even getting a chance to vote. So the referendum's happening right now, and you've got about 28 days to get in there and get it signed. Look around, call. There'll be businesses in your community. Rob, there's a ton of people out there working on this right now today. And if they can collect 100,000 signatures, they will be able to stop her tax increase, get it on the ballot next May. Mm-hmm. And 85% of the people in Oregon don't want this tax increase.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to work. I think the referendum is going to get passed. You need to go out and find this referendum, because it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, red or blue, liberal or conservative. Throw all those words out. We talk about this all the time. Matter of fact, throw those words out all the time. Let's get back to just being Americans and let's do the stuff that's common sense. Sometimes that's going to be a blue thing, and people on the right need to just accept that. Sometimes it's going to be a red thing, and the people in the blue are going to have to accept that. This is one of those where what's best for Oregonians, 85% don't want this tax increase. This is going to happen for the next 10 years if this stays on. But if it gets on the ballot with this referendum, Rob, then next May we vote on it as the population, and it will fail. And then these tax increases. The reason Tina Kotek did this is because she mismanaged the ODOT fund and other funds so badly. And you know why? It's as simple as this. When you try to grow government because you like big government taking care of everything, you spend a lot of money for your agenda-based DEI things.
Policies and hiring. And then, yeah, that's what that means. It means you're, firing people who are career people and bringing in new people in the new positions that you create.
Well, when Joe Morlock left Newburgh High School after we fired him, he got on at Woodburn, which is 15 miles away. Mm-hmm. What's the first thing he did? He took them from approximately 9 administrators to 17. That's what's happening in these blue government situations like Tina Kotek in Oregon. They go in and they start hiring DEI directors.
And it's their friends.
They're what?
It's their friends.
Yeah, and they just fill up these positions that, it's like any company that's top heavy. If it's in the private world, those people go because you got to get to the bottom line. Government doesn't have a bottom line. Their bottom line is, I get my way and I want to do this stuff. And that's what Tina Kotek has done. So this referendum is super important. Get out there, find a place to sign it. And promise you next Saturday, I'll have Rob and I'll speak of an entire list all around where you can get to a business and get that signature. But it'd be great if you went out and got a sheet of 10 spots on there and filled up sheet after sheet after sheet and ask those people where you're getting it from, how you can turn that in. It's so important right now. November 14th, 2025. It's happening right now.
And the people will be out all across the state. So I'm assuming shopping centers. So if you see anything, what's the referendum number? Do you remember what it was?
I don't. It's a tax-based referendum. Look for all the details next Saturday from us. But if you make any calls at all out in your community, you'll find out about it. Last thing, the Oregon Ducks last night beat the Minnesota Gophers. I believe it was 42-13. Oregon's ranked 8th in the country. They are now 9-1. Mm-hmm. But here's my prediction. There's just something that they're not doing right. They overmatched Minnesota with speed and stuff. But I don't know. I just don't see them winning the national title, Rob. I just don't think there's something missing. It's
kind of limping along, it seems like, this year. But again, had a changing quarterback. They have a different quarterback this year. A lot of different players went on to the NFL, so got a new breed of players. So again, it's always a new season.
And the Oregon State Beavers, I think, fired their second coach this year.
Yeah.
I don't even get this. I just don't even understand.
Well, I think donors don't like it. And alumni don't like it. And people, they want change when things aren't going their way. They said something's got to change.
Yeah.
That's.
I'm a big. There's $176 million in the Power Four conferences, firing coaches. This is money owed to these coaches, owed to them. Yeah. They're not coaching anymore. They got fired. $176 million owed to these coaches.
Like Brian Kelly from LSU was getting paid big time money.
Goodness. Last question I have for you today. The last question totally, and we will stop. Are the Epstein files going to create a storm or a whimper?
I think a whimper. I'm sorry, I just think a whimper. People are just, they're kind of desensitized to it. And there's still a group of people who are, rattling the cages about it. I mean, I kind of feel like if there's something that was really, really hot or very, very, you know, um, you know, bullet, silver bullet, it would have come out by now if there's a smoking gun.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like it would have definitely come out by now. Someone would have tried to profit off of that information by now.
Okay. Well, stand tall with Dave and
Well, what do you
Rob.
think, Dave?
What I think is Epstein?
Yeah.
I think the guy was just insane.
Well, not that, but what do you think about the file, the whole release of the files? Whimper or a bomb going off?
I guess I go with the whimper because it's like everything else. Como, these guys that, or what's the senator? That guy is blonde hair kind of guy, and they're always investigating everybody. And what's his name? Biden. What's the kid's name?
Hunter Biden.
I mean, they're always investigating this stuff, and nobody ever goes to jail. It's always just it just never goes anywhere. So I just guess it's going to be a whimper.
Mm. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think if anything, I hope, and I'll kind of close with this, is that I hope that people realize that, where we've been as a country for the past 4 years was not a great place. Not saying we're a great place right now, but definitely things have been improving. I saw a video the other day of people in Memphis, just within themselves about the National Guard coming in and cleaning up their streets.
Yeah.
They said they could go out, they could walk to the convenience store. This guy said he hadn't walked to the convenience store at night in 20 years.
Wow.
And he, a black man said he walked to the convenience store. People are going out. People are enjoying their city. Again, these are video clips. I understand sometimes they can be selectively edited, but these are people who are making comments about what happened in Memphis, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And, we're not hearing about that. We're hearing about Portland, hearing about Los Angeles, Chicago. What about the places where people are welcoming this,
Yeah, I think, like when we look at Portland, in our home state, and you got the governor and the mayor of Portland saying everything's fine. It's not fine. And certain streets are fine, other streets aren't fine. But it's more than just the ICE facility. It is the homelessness. What homelessness brings is drugs. What drugs brings is mental health. What mental health brings is sex trafficking. What sex trafficking means, people are trafficking off drugs and people and human beings. It's just a sad thing, and it's happening. Go out to Marine Drive, some of the places around Portland, and you will see old beater trailers, motorhomes, just
lined up,
miles. And it's dirty and it's gross. It's sad. These people are going to the bathroom on the public lands. It's bad. That goes back to our thing originally, the homelessness thing. I just think these people are screaming for help. And what do? We put nonprofits together to benefit certain people so they can have their own companies. Almost all of the money is generated by government grants.
Yep.
So anyway, well, hey, thanks a lot for listening today. And Rob, always appreciate you. I'm glad my breakfast was better today than it was last weekend.
Yeah, toast.
That was last weekend.
Yeah.
My pancakes were money today.
We turned the page. So.
Bacon was really good today.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there you go. Stand Tall with Dave Brown. Page will be up next on Monday night. And we will talk to you next time. Peace. I got slack.